little tired in this photo, it's because we were. We had just finished a whole day of teacher professional development on the STEM Career Clubs project. I'm Meg Blanchard, and today I'm co-presenting with Kylie, Kristie, and Kye-gyoung. The STEM Career Clubs project was born with funding from the National Science Foundation. I was trying to take a successful intensive intervention and scale it by holding it at the school sites and having teachers be the ones who were running after-school clubs. We have a residential weekend, which brings students to NC State, where they and their parents stay in dorm rooms and get to see what it feels like to be a college student. They also visit STEM departments, and what we're really going for is that the students start to identify as future college students. The STEM Career Clubs is organized around strategic teams. We conduct professional development throughout the year with leadership, parents, and teachers. And we have a couple other team members here in the audience, DeLeon Gray and Braska Williams, who run part of that intervention. We're in year 3 of the project, and we're doing analyses to find out how to sustain these innovative STEM clubs and take what we've learned and expand to other places in the US and perhaps around the globe.
The first thing I went to on the project was a professional development session. I saw firsthand how the research team led the teachers through the activities they'd soon be leading at their schools. The research team would introduce 3 meetings at a time and give the teachers all of the materials they needed to run the STEM club. Even though we provided them with the club agendas and materials, when we started going to the clubs, we noticed they weren't always the most prepared to run the club meetings. Say the rulers were nowhere to be found, or the video links hadn't been previously checked to make sure they were accessible. Reflecting on this, we asked them to have a pre-club meeting prior to the student meeting to plan and prepare. Although not mandatory, these meetings were highly encouraged. We gave them a checklist as a guide for the pre-club meetings. After that, we saw a huge difference in how the STEM clubs were facilitated. This was about the time I started thinking about our teachers and how many of them come from diverse content areas and wondering, how do they make this work? Some are Spanish teachers, media specialists, social studies, and language arts teachers. And this is what I chose to investigate for my dissertation work. So I asked myself, how do these groups of teachers interact, collaborate, and teach one another to prepare for these meetings, and also what happens during the club meetings? I wondered this because even though all of the same materials and professional development was given, the clubs were carried out at the 4 schools differently. So I wanted to see how they differed. So we analyzed the club meetings. This was done using the Dimensions of Success observation tool. To use this tool, we had to complete a 2-day training. Once Kye-gyoung, Kristie, and I completed the training, we were cleared to use the tool. What we found was, in fact, the clubs were earning different scores in different categories. So then I said, why? That is when I began digging deeper into their team dynamics and interactions.
Among various efforts to read the project successfully, I want to praise the effective use of university human resources, trying to connect teachers and students with experts. For example, Dr. Mason from Biological Science Department showed real human brain at teachers' professional development and STEM system meetings. And another thing I have learned is the use of technology for the project implementation. The Wiki Home for STEM CC provide video links, fact sheet, project materials so that everyone can use easily. All the survey during the project administered and saved online using Qualtrics system. STEM CC outcomes were also shared and communicated among students and teachers through CISO blogs. STEM CC activities also contains many technology topics like Makey and Scratch to help the students promote science and technology literacy required as 21st century citizens.
My interest in environmental education and my work with these middle school students and their families naturally led me into the development of hands-on climate change activities with the students for my dissertation work. I designed, and then our teachers implemented these club activities into their club meetings. The first activity helps students distinguish between weather and climate by getting weather readings using probeware at their school sites. In the second activity, students compared temperatures in a high and low carbon dioxide environment and determined their carbon footprint. Lastly, students explored alternative energy options in North Carolina using station labs. Students showed significant growth in content knowledge following the clubs. African American students initially scored the lowest on climate change content questions. However, following the intervention, African American students had the highest mean, and the highest gains were seen in males and 5th and 6th grade students. Braska Williams held parent meetings at each of the 4 school sites twice each semester of the project to discuss topics related to student success. During one meeting at each of the schools, I spoke with parents about the evidence and outlook of climate change in North Carolina, the health impacts of our changing climate, and mitigation strategies to help families save money and to reduce their carbon footprint. Families at each of these 4 schools participated in a climate change discussions in their homes. Families watched 2 documentaries, one local and one global, and they recorded their discussions during the films and answering pre and post questions. Many of the participating families also took part in exit interviews. Positive responses to the study led to the spin-off postdoctoral research project funded by NSF Supplemental Award. This current research with 40 families in our schools provides STEM activities to complete at home, information about careers in college, and perhaps most importantly, snacks.